from South Shore Lodge.
Yeah, okay, I'll be right out.
You'll be right out. Perfect. What, are you doing some gardening?
Yeah, I'm doing some gardening. I'm cutting down these kind of things.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know what to do about the roses.
Keeping yourself busy then. No, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It was a whole lot better before, but the fella that built it didn't put a foundation under it, and it started to fall apart. We had to put it back together again. But it's 60 years old.
Well, there you go. Hopefully when I'm 60 years old, I'm still standing. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, for sure. And I never knew the surrounding area, because I'm interested in it personally myself, you know. And this is just
Let me know what you want to know.
You know what? I want to know what it was like the first time you came here. When did you come here the first time you came to this part of the lake?
To this part of the lake. We came to the north end of the lake in 1939 and 40 and 41, and then Pearl Harbor was in 41. So we missed 4 years coming back. And we stayed at South Shore Camp in the fall. My wife and I would come up here with our children. Got 2 kids. And we stayed at Sunset Isle Camp for a while. Sunset Isle.
Where was that?
That's
I don't even recognize it.
That's up it's in the edge of Vermilion Bay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is it still around or no?
I don't know. But anyway, then my wife and I, 3 years in a row, we came on down in the fall, and we stayed with Ernie Schischler in South Shore.
Yeah.
So we stayed there 3, and then is when we knew about the islands, and I went into Kenora to see what we could do, and they told me what we had to do to buy an island, and I don't think they sell them anymore.
No, you can't. How much was the island?
It wasn't very much. We had to hire a surveyor. They wanted, the exact dimensions and everything and shape of the island. And the surveyor cost more than the island.
Oh, geez.
I don't know. I suppose it was just in the neighborhood of just a few $100.
Wow.
To buy the whole island. But the requirement was you had to put $1,000 worth of improvements on the island, and they call this improvements. I don't think you could improve
No, nature, yeah.
nature, but that's what they called it. So we hired the fella to build this, and then Claire, my wife's name was Clarice. Clarice and I were sitting in here one day, and we heard the awfulest loud music from this next island down here. There were some people there that had a boom box. They used to call them a boom box.
Yeah.
And make a lot of noise. And gee, they stayed there the better part of the day, and we thought, oh shucks, they probably bought that island. And so we went back to Kenora and asked them, and they said, no, nobody's inquired about it. And so then we told them we wanted to buy the other 2 in the bay, to keep
Keep it
noise,
quiet.
to keep it quiet. Yeah.
So then you built that cabin there?
Yeah, Clarice and I built those other 2 cabins, and neither one of us were a carpenter. But we bought the material in Vermilion Bay and hauled it down in our small fishing boat. And I would ask them in the lumber yard, what do I do next? This is what I've done. And they'd tell me what to do. And they stayed up there and told me what to do down here. So Claire and I built those other 2 cabins, and they're far firmer than this one.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
they're solid because there was an old abandoned soapstone mine about 5 miles down here,
Okay. Yeah.
and we'd go down there and pick up stuff that the people just left laying around, soapstone, and they usually had it in a cube, and so we brought that up and we used those for the foundation.
Wow.
Yeah, we dug down to
the rock?
mineral rock
Wow.
and down to rock and started there, and so those two cabins were built in about 54 and 55, and they're still solid.
Yeah. We were just over there and looked at one. They look great. I mean, they really do.
Yeah,
What kind of boat did you have when you came out here the first time?
little just a small open boat with a 5 horsepower
5 hours.
motor.
How long did it take you to get from Vermilion?
Oh, it was more than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. With materials.
We used to come down, every time we came down here, we'd launch the boat in Vermilion Bay and come down about 18 miles roughly, I think it is. You probably know how far it is.
Yeah.
But then lately we've been launching our boat at Pine Beach.
Right. Yeah. 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 When you say lately, how long ago has that been? Just the last few years, or has it been quite a while over there?
I think maybe pushing 10,
Yeah. Yeah. Helen is great over there.
isn't she?
She's dynamite. You couldn't have a better neighbor.
That's true.
She is dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Now I've got more neighbors because I've been here since '99.
Oh, have you?
And there was quite a while there, I guess, where I had never seen anybody coming out here. Like, there was a stretch there where there was just nobody ever coming, like nobody came here. And then all of a sudden one year we were looking out the back bay and there's somebody was roofing the putting tin on over there. And I'm like, well, somebody does own these. I had actually inquired and tried to find out who owned them or if they were just abandoned, and I was trying to figure that out because I knew this was an old cabin and I knew there was some history here.
Mhm.
And I wanted to know a little bit more about South Shore Lodge during that time because I'm assuming that you were here, so you would have gone there, maybe even for gas or supplies, or was Schursler an all right guy, or?
Yeah, Ernie was a good guy. He sold South Shore and built Century Camp.
Yep, yep.
But Ernie must be gone now because he was older than I.
He is. I did find out though that he does have family still living in Dryden area.
Oh,
And I've been trying to get a hold of them too to talk to them and see if they've got old pictures or something that from the '60s and stuff. But I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Do you know when he sold it? Around?
no, I don't remember.
Yeah. That was I know it was a long time ago. That's for sure. Because I do know that he built Century after he built South Shore. Yeah.
A fellow named Wally Pierce, I guess he owned it, and he might be the one that bought it from Ernie, because I think he was there soon after Ernie left. And we got to be pretty good friends with Wally and his wife and little boy. Then Wally took a job working for, what is their name? Anyway, that have the camp on Great Slave Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And so Wally worked for them for a while, and I don't know what's become of him now.
Right. How often did you guys come out here?
Well, Clarice and I used to come about twice a year,
Yeah.
was all. And we probably never stayed longer than 2 weeks.
And what in the 50s, what were you doing in the 50s when you'd come out here? How was the fishing compared to it is now?
Well, I think it was a lot better, but I don't tell the grandkids that, because they're real happy with the fishing.
Yeah.
But I think it was better. I brought an old guy up here who was afraid of the water. He lived across this road from me back home. Name was Bill Trick Sr. And so when we'd be up here, I'd take the boat and go out fishing, but he wouldn't go because he was afraid of the water. And gee, one time I come back, I had 10, 15-pound northerns, big fish and everything. And I was so proud of it and everything. And I come up here, and he'd been fishing off the island, and he had bigger fish than I did, and more of them. Just casting off the island.
Oh, geez, that's something.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any hunting out of here?
No.
No, no,
No, never hunted in Canada.
no. Any experiences with the wild animals while you're up here staying?
Experiences with wild
Oh,
animals?
I don't know. Have you ever had any bears in camp? Do you ever have any moose coming on the island?
We've had moose come on the island. One night, Clarice and I were here, and we had our 2 Cocker Spaniels. And all at once they waked us up with making a big fuss, barking and smelling, and then like the door was closed, and they'd come and they'd smell underneath the door and everything. And a moose had walked by. We could see the tracks afterward. He must have got on the island down there somewhere,
Sure.
walked right by here and got off the island. We let the dogs out, which might have been a mistake, but they went tearing down there after the moose. But I guess the moose was probably off the island by then.
For sure.
But one day over in the, I forgot where it was, could have been Blind Bay, there was a bear on the point, and we were fishing, and the bear started swimming across that part of the lake. And so I motored over there, and the bear was swimming along, and we were in the boat beside it, and he was looking up at us, and I'm taking this picture. And then in the old days, we used to see a lot of moose. When we stayed on the north shore, like Sunset Isle, we fished canoe narrows a lot.
Right.
You know canoe narrows.
Yeah.
And in that little bay, this side of Canoe Narrows, we'd often catch a moose feeding on seaweed, put his head down, and then we'd get a little closer, and then when he put his head up, we'd stop, and we'd approach him that way.
Yeah. Who was the guy who built this cabin then? Was it a local guy that you had come out, or did you have somebody come out from?
He lived on the north side of Vermilion Bay. And he was from Norway, and that was his profession.
Wow.
I think in Norway he used to build log cabins.
And is this all, he saw this locally then?
Yep, cut all the wood locally.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him not to cut any trees from the island. He says, oh, we won't do that. So I don't know if they went across and cut the trees.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, you can't do that these days. How's the water? Did you go for a swim yet this spring?
The water's too cold for me. I used to swim up here, but since I got old, the water's too cold for me.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe you're just out here by yourself hanging out.
Huh?
I can't believe you're out here by yourself just hanging out.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 guys with me, but Dick and Maury. Dick is one of my grandsons.
Right, yeah.
He's a grandson on my daughter's side. Bob over here is a grandson on my son's side.
Sure. Wow. Are you staying here by yourself though? They're on the other.
No, I stay here. The Purnells are going to come over and get me tomorrow, and I'm going to go over and spend some time on their island.
Sure. Go visiting the neighbors.
Yeah.
What made you decide to come to Canada the first time? Like when you decided to come do a vacation, what made you come to Eagle Lake and come up here? Like it was just...
We had heard about Eagle Lake, and we had heard about Sunset Isle Camp. Kellberg owned it. Carl Kellberg was his son who had it after his parents died. I forget what the father's name was. But Carl Kellberg got to be good friends of ours too. He sold Sunset Isle Camp and moved to Milwaukee, and we lived 65 miles from Milwaukee, and we used to visit back and forth.
Sure.
And then, did you ever hear about Carl? That he drowned?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he was born and raised on the lake. One time he took a boat out to work on the motor, which wasn't working very good, and didn't come back. They found the boat empty, and they found his body in the water.
That's a shame.
They never know what possibly could have happened to that young man.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, he had a wife and 2 little girls.
Huh.
Oh, that was, see, he came to Milwaukee and worked for Harley Davidson,
Oh, okay.
who has a factory in Milwaukee. And then he moved back to here, and he bought another camp on the not too far from where Sunset Isle is. Is there a Waldorf
Yep.
town up there?
Waldorf, yep, absolutely.
I think that's where,
And there's a camp called Waldorf Bay Lodge.
oh, I forget what it was, but he bought a camp there, and he was running that camp when the time he drowned.
Oh, wow. That's a shame.
Yeah, it sure was a shame.
Yeah. So when you guys decided to come up to Canada and you went to Sunset Camp, and then, like, because I know we try and get people to come to Canada and do fishing trips, and that's vacations. So what was it like in the 50s when you were planning a fishing vacation? What made you come to Eagle Lake?
Well, we'd heard about Sunset Isle
Yeah.
Camp, and we heard it was a Canadian lake, and that's what we wanted.
Right.
So we came up and we stayed on Sunset Isle the years before World War II. We didn't come up in 42, 43, 44, 45, or 46. We didn't go anyplace in 46. I'd just gotten out of the Army Air Corps, so we stayed home. But in 47 we started coming back here, and I think, yeah, I know. Then we went back to Sunset Isle and stayed there 47, 48, 49, very likely. About that. I might be a little wrong on my dates. And then Carl helped me move this heavy stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the cabin was built.
Right. And when did you stay at South Shore? Was it before you went there or after?
No, it was in the fall of the years that we stayed at Sunset Isle. So that would have been like 47, 48, and 49, roughly.
Right, okay.
Roughly. I think we were there. I'm quite sure we were there 3 years.
Right. Do you remember the cabins there at South Shore? I think we've got 2 original cabins still.
Oh.
They're the log cabins, and they were red, Navajo red, that color that they painted all those camps back then. I'm just wondering if you remember the cabin that you might have stayed in back then. Do you remember where it was, or was it on the water?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
For sure. Do you get out fishing much?
I didn't even buy a license this year. They fish so much different than we used to. I think maybe the biggest fish I caught was a 24-pound northern one year. Happened to catch it on my birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I caught it in September one year.
Wow.
Right back up before you get to Blind Bay.
Right.
In this area.
In the channel there, in the little bays here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24-pound northern. I don't think there even are any of them left in the lake.
Clarice caught a, 11-pound, I guess, walleye, and so we had it mounted and hung it up over the fireplace, and somebody stole it.
Oh, jeez.
And we had some of them dead to rights. I used to have a tank of gasoline here, raw gas, and then I'd mix it for the motorboat, for the motor. and they broke in here and they stole some of the gas and they wrecked their motor.
Oh, because it wasn't mixed.
It wasn't mixed. So they went down to South Shore and borrowed a motor to take their motor up to get it fixed in Vermilion Bay, I guess. Yeah, in Vermilion Bay. So they had to leave their name and address with South Shore. They had brought up some things from a locker plant. They had their name on it, and they had that thrown in the backyard.
Oh, jeez.
And the guys, to show you how dumb they were, the guys, a little stub from his paycheck, Social Security and everything. And so we knew who they were. And so I turned it in to the police there, and I said, I'm going to get those guys. And they said, no, we're going to get them. You just stay away from it.
Right.
So I don't know if they ever did anything or not.
Right.
But my son says, why don't you send them a Christmas card and say, I hope you got your outboard motor fixed. One year, the lake, when the lake was real low, we came through Canoe Narrows, and so Clarice and I had to get out and push the boat through. Mm-hmm. So I'm pushing the boat through, and she's just walking around in Canoe Narrows, and she found the most magnificent Indian stone that was shaped about like this, like where my fingers and thumbs are, and all sharpened all the way around.
Really?
We still have it, or I still have it, but I'm giving stuff like that away to different grandchildren.
Right,
so.
Sure. I know there's Indian paintings over here just on the channel here on Boat Island. There's paintings right on the rocks and stuff.
Oh.
And they tell me that years and years ago when the lake was lower, because they've dammed it up over there at Eagle River, and they say when the lake was lower you could see a lot more of those Indian paintings, because I guess they would go up with their canoes and they would paint on the rocks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But and I know that there's some you can still see here just up in Canoe Narrows, so it doesn't surprise me that you'd find Indian artifacts and stuff around here. I mean, must have been a bunch of them, that's for sure.
Yeah. Very likely.
Yeah, no, that's kind of neat. I'm glad I got a chance to meet you. How old are you, if I don't mind me asking?
I'm 95, but in September I'm going to be 96.
96.
I'm coming up closer to 96.
Wow.
Yeah.
You look good for 96.
I've been very lucky. I'm still strong enough. I live on a farm at home, and I have a woods there, and I can still work in the woods and cut my firewood for the winter. And
wow, you're burning firewood.
Yeah, well, just in a fireplace.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I see. Wow, and only 96.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just real lucky, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Absolutely, you got that right. Wow. Well, it was. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope that maybe someday we get to talk again. Maybe someday in camp, if you come by for a visit and look around.
I'll very likely make it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean. Super.